I'm Noche Diaz, spokesperson for the National Get Organized for an Actual Revolution tour. I'll be reading Donald Trump, Genocidal Racist, Part 1 by Bob Avakian. Genocide means killing off a whole people or a large part of that people. Genocide is what the Europeans did to the native peoples in America while stealing their land. Genocide is Hitler and the Nazis murdering 6 million Jews. Donald Trump is a genocidal racist. Donald Trump hates black people and everybody who is not a white, English-speaking Christian American. If he could, he would kill off a whole lot of them and put many of the rest in jail for life, or drive them out of the country. Trump has spouted and shouted vicious racism for years and decades. Trump's niece, Mary Trump, who knows him well, said this about him. I can only imagine the envy with which Donald watched the cop killing George Floyd. I can only imagine that Donald wishes it had been his knee on Floyd's neck. Think about that. What do you think Trump will do if he can get his knee even more firmly on the necks of black, brown, and native peoples? Yes, even after slavery was ended, black people have been continually subjected to horrific oppression and terror right down to today. But the fully unleashed rule of genocidal racism, which is what Trump is aiming for, would be a horror on a whole other level. The slow genocide of black people, which has already been going on through things like mass incarceration and continuing murder by police, can quickly become a much faster and more complete genocide if Trump and his regime succeed in remaining in power and carry forward more fully their fascist program. And as I have said in my August 1st statement, the hour is getting late, but it is not yet too late to defeat the fascism concentrated in the fascist regime of Trump and Pence, and to wrench something positive out of this increasingly terrible situation. But that requires fully facing up to what this regime of genocidal racist fascism represents and what it is aiming to do, and using all appropriate means to remove this regime from power. Above all, the mobilization of masses of people to get in the streets starting now in the thousands, and to stay in the streets, becoming millions, powerfully putting forward the unifying demand that this fascist regime must be out now. And as I emphasized in that August 1st statement, in the most fundamental terms, it requires working to create more favorable conditions for, and to build up the organized forces for, the revolution that is needed to finally put an end to this system, which has from the beginning rested on genocidal racism and other horrific forms of oppression, and which now, with this fascist regime, is moving to take this to even more monstrous levels, posing a very real and grave threat to the very existence, not only of black people, but the masses of oppressed humanity and ultimately humanity as a whole. This is not hype or exaggeration in any way. It is the cold, hard fact we are faced with, and it demands that in the name of and for the future of humanity, we act on the basis of fully confronting this reality and moving in our millions and millions to change this reality before it really is too late. If you think this is an exaggeration and the danger is not as great as what is said here, then you don't know who Donald Trump really is. And in part 2 and the rest of this series of articles, further evidence will be brought out to show that Donald Trump is indeed a genocidal racist, whose fascist regime is a threat to the very existence not only of black people, but to the masses of oppressed humanity and to humanity itself. And once again, what we are urgently called on to do in the face of this. This was part 1 of a series by Bob Avakian, which is appearing on revcom.us. Stay tuned for more.